Now, when it comes to Cupcake Drake, well, now, if you're ready to see how the once Iceman turned Cupcake Man is absolutely cooked right now, as after more info has come out about the lawsuit that he keeps dragging on and on. Well, things have never looked worse for the 40-year-old Mega Karen. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe because this is going to be a good one, and I once again have to ask seriously, as Lawbury is spiraling out and coming out for everybody, potentially including me, because he's only going to drag this thing out more and more, especially with what we have just found out from the judges within this case in this very moment. Well, make sure to leave that like because we are going to need all the support we can get, and everybody needs to see how the judges are now viewing Lawbury, because right now, well, with none other than Cupcake Drake. I mean, really, when it rains, it pours on the leader of the Legion of Lame, because really, after Drake went from being a rapper wannabe to a Jerry Springer wannabe, I mean, I know you would have thought that a rapper losing so bad that he is asking for a paternity test would be the rock bottom of a crash out, but it's not. And things have only continued to get much worse from here, as now with more info from this case coming up, well, what we have now seen within the actual words of none other than Judge Vargas, who is the one who's trying to make sense of Karen, just using these systems to go super Karen to levels that we have never seen. Well, even one of the most respected and highly qualified people that you could have working this thing is absolutely floored with the logic that Lawbury is trying to use, and let's just get into it. Because seriously now, what is all going on is due to the mess that Drake has created and the own precedent that he has tried to set with this entire case. Which truly now, when you see how it's coming to haunt him, what we are starting to see is really the writing on the wall, as everything here is not just going to end up ruining his rap career and legacy like we have already seen and understood, but even greater than that, Cupcake Karen is getting to the point where he is about to get laughed out of the courtroom so bad that he is on pace to get humiliated in a suit in a way that nobody has ever seen, not just in the hip-hop world and within the rules of the culture and people who respect the craft and just competition in general, but these high-ranking professionals and these people who have had to come out of their way and waste their time to try and solve this thing. And now the reason why all of this is because at the end of the day, the very core and principle of what Drake is trying to whine and convince us all about is that Not Like Us was such a harmful record to him because it made us all believe that Drake is a certain thing, which, listen, as I'm being told that Drake may come after me, I'm not going to say too many specifics, but you know what I'm talking about. It's saying that Drake is into Stranger Things. And while those Stranger Things I'm talking about can be seen through his love for the actual Stranger Things, and so now with this and Drake trying to stand on the point that Kendrick Lamar has made everybody believe that Drake liking Stranger Things and being into these very weird things that would give him some weird cases is an absolute and sheer and utter fact. And of course they're trying to say that it's only because of this song and not because Drake has pictures with the entire Stranger Things cast or invited Madison Beer to parties or has done some very other weird things. Right when people have turned, you know what, I'm not going to say it because they may be coming for me and I don't need any more trouble. But you know what I'm saying, this guy's a freak. And so pretty much now understanding and assessing all of the facts, what the judge has turned out to say and use against Cupcake Karen is, and we do have a transcript and I am going to show you some of it right here. What we are seeing with this now is that with the precedent that Drake has tried to set forward and what he is trying to prove by just saying that everything is fact and that's the pure logic that he has rooted his entire argument in. Well, now while using this very same principle, while Drake may be able to try and whine about Not Like Us more than anybody has whined about a single song in the history of music, what he didn't realize is that this also came with a cost, which is that Drake's songs are now being evaluated under the same lens. And seriously now, what we are seeing is that there is an issue that the judge has had with the logic of Cupcake after going through all of the diss records and all of the lyrics and based on Drake's very precedent. What has absolutely tanked everything for Drake and is now being looked at as a pure fact and serious claim over everything else? Well, more than anything Kendrick Lamar has done, the one track that is tanking Lawbury's chances of ever coming out of this thing was something even slightly positive. Is the song that is going to go down as one of the biggest mistakes, if not the biggest in hip-hop history, in none other than Tailor-Made Freestyle. And now this is because with this track, which was the ultimate display of Drake's arrogance as a person in general and his disrespect for the art form that he had grifted from to get to the point that he ruined rap music for so long with as a whole, Well, within this, what now the court is seeing as a glaring mistake and slip up on Drake's end that just makes the claims that he is trying to say about Not Like Us pretty much completely invalidated if it goes this far. Are the lines in the song where Drake, with the voice model of Tupac over him, told Kendrick straight up, tell him about the girls he likes, which definitely makes for some stranger things to be into. And then, of course, Drake said that he heard it on the Button podcast, so he knew it had to be true. And with this, listen, for all of the Drake stans who are watching this and are still trying to annoy me, get out of here, because this time you are following through. I don't want to hear it. Because now with the courts realizing that Drake in this back and forth where he has believed that everything is literal did admit to the thing that Kendrick said was true. Well, with this, the lesson that everybody should take away from this is how much your words matter, and you really need to be careful when you put things out there, because in any context, no matter what, well, what we are seeing with this track where Cupcake tried to intimidate Kendrick and got so arrogant that he put these things out there and admitted whatever stranger things he felt were going to destroy his career in this beef. Well, now with the precedent Drake is set, the judge is looking at these lines and what it is telling them is that, well, for Drake, he is admitting that the whole thing that he started dragging Not Like Us and its contents for is something that, again, when we break this thing down as everything being literal and not artistic anymore, which is what Drake has wanted, is something that he seemingly asked Kendrick to do and set himself on a track. And just by using this very basic logic, which for the Drake stans watching, I know that's a very hard concept, but just try to follow along. Well, once again, we are seeing yet another baffling contradiction from Karen and a moment where we are witnessing his strategy and plan in this case just crumble, because really, how are you this much of a failure that even when you have ran to the judges to try and save you from the loss that you took in a rap beef, that now based on the rule book and precedents that you have created to whine and drag this thing out, you are still managing to lose? Because seriously, with the judges now looking at the very words you said and pretty much just seeing that you doubled down and wanted Kendrick to do everything he did in the first place, I mean, this really may be it for Drake. It is looking awful right now, and as long as this logic is understood as everything continues, things are going to go downhill quick, especially while at the same time as Drake tries to dig up whatever Kendrick Lamar has going on in his personal life, which it pretty much seems like there is nothing there that he is going to get. Well, just more of these claims and ideas from Drake are being looked into, and everybody is seeing how much of a hypocrite and a liar he really is, and how much of a sham this case has really been. And now what's really crazy about this, and what some rumors in the industry are saying right now within this entire moment, is that behind the scenes now the judges have realized how bad this leap in logic is, and as a result, well, with there being factual proof of Drake literally encouraging Kendrick to do what he did on Not Like Us, there are some rumors that are saying that this suit is going to be dropped soon and end in favor of Not Like Us and the labels as opposed to Drake. And as a result of this, well, first off, Cupcake Karen is wide aware of this, and this is why he made his team file all of these other ridiculous motions that we just saw about Kendrick and his family, and pretty much anything else that can help make his lyrics sound more true and Kendrick's personal life more messy. And to be honest, when you know how Drake moves and how he is constantly trying to cover up messes with the only thing that he possibly knows how to do, which is not make a good song, do anything decent, or do anything respectable, but is just by creating yet another mess, this really does seem likely and seem like something that's very well in the realm of possibility. And so at the end of the day, listen, while there is a lot to still unfold here, if tailor-made freestyle and the words that Drake said there become the very reason that this entire case falls apart for him, well, it will just be so funny and poetic that this is how everything crumbles for Drake once along. And if this does end up being the reality of the situation, I mean, you could literally write series and series of books on what to take away from this. Because really, from underestimating your opponent to being arrogant to putting things out there that really could have gotten you in trouble, and just to never be able to take accountability, well, really, when you put all these things together and see where Drake is at, and really, in the entire beef itself, while there were songs that were worse and made more noise, tailor-made freestyle really was the most disgusting thing Drake did. I do think when we look at all this like that, there is not a possible more fitting and funny way to cement the downfall of Drake than that right there. And so now with all this said, let me know. What do you think about everything going down with Karen right now? And what do you think about the potential of him just crumbling his entire case based on this one record and the precedent that he set and the lyrics that he put there? Well, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about all this. And now, if you made it to this point in the video, you know what to do. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now, if you want to see how right before this, Well, Kendrick responded to Drake's disses in the only way he can, which is something that Drake is definitely not gonna like. Check out the suggested video.